A crying newborn is so upsetting to listen to, but when it's your own baby and they've been crying and you can't figure out how to get them stopped, it can be the most disheartening, frustrating, and exhausting experience as a new parent. This video will discuss normal fussiness in newborns, what colic is, and how colic is managed. And make sure you stick around until the end because I'll cover my top 6 strategies to soothe a crying baby. I am Dr. Mona, a pediatrician and mom. I help empower parents with easy to understand, evidence-based information so you can make the best choices for your child. Make sure to like this video and subscribe here to PedsDocTalk TV to stay up to date on the latest videos and new content. Looking for more content to help you through the first year of parenthood? Make sure to grab my New Mom Survival Guide, an online course to help you through everything in baby's first year. Many parents notice an increase in fussiness in their newborn, usually starting around 2 to 7 weeks of age, with a peak at 6 weeks. This is largely due to many reasons. The honeymoon period is over and infants are waking up to their surroundings. For the first 2 to 4 weeks, many babies can sleep anywhere and haven't realized there's a whole new world out here. And around that 2 to 4 week mark, they become more alert and aware that they are no longer in a dark room. There are noises, temperature irregularities, dogs barking, garbage trucks, siblings maybe, and they have work to do to feed. Another reason babies can go through this fussiness stage is thought to be because of the developing gut. Healthy bacteria is colonizing the microbiome of the newborn every day, and this can potentially lead to more gas, and more gas can lead to crying. More crying can lead to more swallowed air. More swallowed air can lead to more gas, which can lead to more crying. A vicious cycle of fussiness. All infants cry, but when a healthy, well-fed infant cries for more than 3 hours per day, for more than 3 days a week, and for longer than 3 weeks at a time, they are considered to have the description of colic. Colic is a clinical diagnosis and term that has been associated with a lot of negative connotations and fear. Parents are scared their baby will develop colic when no one actually has control fully over this. And sometimes the fear and panic from the parent leads to a cycle of more symptoms in the newborn. Colic is a self-limited condition that babies will outgrow, typically by 3 to 4 months of age. But it can still be a very distressing experience for parents. Like I mentioned, I see the peak around 6 to 8 weeks. Also, as a reminder, colic is not reflux. Colic is not a milk protein allergy. Colic is a diagnosis of exclusion, which means other reasons for fussiness have been excluded. And colic is not a baby who is fussy all day, every day. A colicky baby usually has a specific time or times they are fussy and crying, whether it's in the afternoon or evening, commonly called a witching hour, or in the middle of the night at 2 a.m. Make sure to stick around until the end to know when it's time to seek help for your baby's fussiness. It's unclear what causes colic, and it's likely multifactorial. Proposed contributing factors include GI immaturity or alterations in the gut microbiome, like I mentioned already, leading to more gas, biological factors like smoke exposure, and psychosocial factors like a baby's temperament or hypersensitivity. The psychosocial factors can play a huge role, including how we respond to the crying, which can create a cycle of overwhelm in the home. Also, an overtired baby can lead to more crying, especially in the afternoons and evenings. So make sure to watch for sleepy cues and put them to sleep if they're up for too long. More about hunger cues, sleepy cues, and everything you'd want to know about baby's first year in the New Mom Survival Guide, available at PedsDocTalk.com. Babies with colic tend to get colicky episodes or periods of inconsolable fussiness with a clear start and finish. These periods often seem to start without a known trigger. The quality of the cry is typically higher pitched and louder than a non-colicky cry. Parents often report their cry sounds like they are in pain and is often described as more urgent sounding and distressing than non-colicky cries. With colic, the parent can feel overwhelmed as nothing seems to calm the baby, or a parent may feel that there is something wrong with the baby. But there is nothing wrong, as I'll get into. It's important to check yourself and your pulse before dealing with a crying newborn. Being escalated will not help calm down a fussy newborn. Typically, management will focus on finding soothing strategies that work for your baby. Let's talk about some of my favorite strategies. Some will work for one baby, but not another, so try them out and see if your baby responds best to a certain one. But before you try these strategies, I want you to check in with yourself. Often, a crying infant will trigger a visceral response in us, causing a fight or flight mode. Pause before reacting or picking your crying infant up. Give yourself 30 seconds or a minute to calm yourself before you respond. If you need to, lay baby down in a safe space like a bassinet or a crib with no blankets and stuffed animals. Get a glass of water, give yourself a pep talk to calm yourself down. Then you'll be in a better headspace to intervene and hopefully soothe your infant. You cannot calm a fussy child down if you are fussy yourself. There is a true psychology of colic that exists. Baby cries, parent gets nervous, tense, or upset, and tries to frantically calm the baby. Baby senses this nervousness and cries more. Cue that cycle. I have been in many office visits with a colicky baby. The baby is 5 to 6 weeks old, the parents are frazzled and stressed, passing the baby around to help the baby stop crying. Understandably, the parents are nervous because they want the best for their baby. I start speaking in a low, calming volume to the parent, and as we're calming our bodies down, the baby falls asleep. In colic, our body language and response truly does matter. Make sure to listen to this podcast episode, The Fussy Newborn, on the PedsDocTalk Podcast, for more on this cycle of overwhelm that colic can bring and why it's important for us to break that to see calm. And do remember, us being calm is not going to make sure that your baby never cries. This is just part of the strategies that I'll get into next. Before trying soothing strategies, check and make sure their basic needs are met. Download this free PDF if you need it to share with other caregivers. Check their diaper to see if it needs to be changed. Look for feeding cues to see if they're hungry. Do a scan to make sure medically they're okay. If the back of their neck feels burning hot, it may be best to remove clothing layers and check a rectal temp to confirm the fussiness is not due to a fever. Also, check their extremities for hand tourniquets or pieces of hair wrapped around their fingers or toes. This is rare, but it can cause discomfort and fussiness, albeit the fussiness is usually not periodic and it's more all the time. But it's worth checking for if your baby is really fussy. These are the basic needs and health things that I want you to look out for. When all this is good, take that deep breath, regulate yourself, and say, my baby is safe, I'm safe, so you can proceed through these fussy moments. Let's talk about my 6 favorite soothing mechanisms for a newborn or infant. First, you can try the side rock. This is a method to calm a baby down who may be overtired or not settling. Hold the baby on their side or their tummy and gently rock or bounce them in this position. Support their neck or their chin if you need to. Second, try placing your baby in a swing or bouncer. Babies are used to bouncing up and down in utero, so a swing would mimic this motion. But remember, for safety, they cannot fall asleep in a swing unattended. Your eyes need to be on them at all times. And if you plan on stepping away or falling asleep for even a minute, it's best not to leave them in a swing. You can also bounce them up and down on a yoga ball or bounce them in your arms gently. But remember, if you're frantically bouncing because you're stressed, this isn't calming and can add to that dysregulation. Third, try skin to skin or baby wearing. Let's not forget the comfort of you. Sometimes they just want to be held or be in your arms or on your chest. This can be very soothing and a great tip for both you and your baby. Remember that if you are falling asleep or your baby is showing signs of sleepy cues, place them back in the crib or bassinet so they can associate sleepy cues with their safe sleep environment. Baby wearing can be helpful in those evening witching hours where you need your hands free but you want them close and you'll be able to rock them, walk with them, and comfort them. So make sure you use this if it's something that you want to do. A fourth strategy is to utilize a pacifier. A pacifier can be very relaxing and a great soothing tip. Fifth, try swaddling your baby. This recreates the warmth and tightness of the womb, which can be calming to babies. To swaddle correctly, the arms should be straight down the side with the swaddle blanket under the shoulders. Make sure the hips have adequate movement as well. Only swaddle for sleep times, as they should be free for movement when awake. Not every baby needs a swaddle, so have one handy and see if it's calming for your baby. Once your baby begins to show signs of rolling over, it's time to forgo the swaddle. This can happen for some babies at 6 weeks or 2 months of age, and for some babies a little earlier. And you can ditch the swaddle completely or transition to a sleep sack. Finally, try using a sound machine. A sound machine can mimic the sounds of fluid in the womb, so it can be soothing to some newborns. But not all babies love it. Some will cry more, like our son did. Remember, every baby is unique in their sleep and comfort needs. This is a good option if you have an extremely loud home to drown out some sounds. But if you don't, a little ambient noise is okay. Dogs barking, garbage trucks passing by, etc. are all part of the normal sounds we hear every day. Some other favorite soothing tips for newborns: giving your baby a massage, changing scenery like going for a walk outside in nature, or if it's in the middle of the night, into a different room, or singing or talking quietly to them. And above all else, remember what I said about regulating yourself. Sometimes they just need a break from all the stimulation. And if you're stressfully bouncing them around, crying yourself, or rocking them with stress, we need to regulate. Remember to tell yourself, I'm safe, you're safe, and this moment will pass. Beyond the soothing strategies that I mentioned, there are not a lot of proven methods to reduce crying in infants with colic. There has been some evidence that supplementing babies with a probiotic containing L. reuteri, like Gerber Soothe drops, can reduce time spent crying. But this evidence has been inconsistent. See my YouTube video on probiotics in infants for more information. Similarly, gripe water and gas drops like simethicone or Mylicon drops have also not shown any consistent evidence of reducing symptoms in babies with colic. I recommend trying all other interventions before trying these medications, and then only use them if you notice benefit. Discuss with your child's clinician before starting any new medications. If your baby has spit up or excessive gas, some clinicians may consider switching an infant's diet if other symptoms are present, such as to a more gentle or hydrolyzed formula if formula feeding. But please, please, please speak to a clinician before making too many changes. As for my breastfeeding mamas, there is no elimination diet recommended. But if you notice a strict correlation between foods you eat and gassiness in the baby, meaning you eat this and the next breastfeeding session they are extremely gassy, you can eliminate. But please, as an IBCLC and pediatrician, I'm asking you not to do a pan elimination. This can impact your mental health and your nutrition and your breastfeeding journey. Because a gassy baby and colic can go hand in hand, using anti-colic bottles can help if bottle feeding, feeding baby in an upright position or 45-degree angle, burping in the middle of the feedings to alleviate gas, and ensuring proper latch with breastfeeding, as all these things can cause more air being swallowed, leading to that gas cry cycle that I mentioned already. Also, gently massaging your baby's belly in a circular motion or pumping their legs back and forth can help alleviate the gas. If you're dealing with that witching hour where your newborn is crying in the evening hours, it might be useful to look at something called wake windows. Wake windows are from the time that your baby wakes up to the time that you put them down to sleep. If a child is overtired, this could be a reason that they're crying and crying, especially in those evening hours. So it's a good idea to monitor wake windows if you're dealing with this overtired child who's crying and maybe they've just been awake too long during periods of the day. Normal wake windows in the first 3 months are as follows. And like I mentioned, a wake window is the moment your child wakes up to the time that you're putting them down. So just say your 4-week-old wakes up at 10 a.m. and is still awake at 12 p.m. You likely missed their sleepy cues and want to keep a closer eye on their sleepy cues to put them down when you see it, closer to maybe 10:45 a.m. or maybe even 11 a.m. If a newborn isn't getting sleep throughout the day, it could be one of the reasons they're more fussy in the evenings or afternoons. Seek care for the following. Your baby under 3 months of age has a fever over 100.4 Fahrenheit taken rectally. If your baby seems to be fussy the whole day without chances of sleep stretches at all, if your baby is also spitting up with the fussiness, there is blood in the stool, they are not feeding or making at least 4 wet diapers in a day. Colic and significant newborn fussiness can contribute to family stress as well as postpartum anxiety and depression. Utilize your support system. Take some alone time away from your baby if possible to recharge. And if you're feeling consistently sad, overwhelmed, disconnected, or just feel unlike yourself, seek a therapist. I hope you found this video and these strategies on soothing a fussy baby helpful. Does your baby have colic? Have you found any interventions particularly helpful in helping calm down your newborn? Please leave questions or comments below. I would love to hear about your experiences. And as always, make sure to leave video suggestions in the community tab on my page so I know what topics you want to hear about. Please like and share this video and make sure to subscribe to be the first to know about new videos published. And if you'd like more information on baby's first year of life, check out my New Mom Survival Guide, an on-demand digital course with printables, video tutorials, and so much more to help you take the guesswork and stress out of raising your new baby. I'll see you all next time for another video here on PedsDocTalk TV. Stay well.